Hey everyone, this is Dustin with Tech MD. We're going to be doing a 12 Pro Max back glass from G&G buy or buy.G&G. I don't know. I'll put the link in the description to get the Apple parts, or you can go IG and get non-logo Apple parts from my Gadget supplier. Either one, this is not a procedure I recommend a non-professional doing, even with a laser machine. But why would you have a laser machine if you're non-professional? So your only option is really this, but once again, there's so much stuff that you can ruin. So if you don't care about your phone, you have it all backed up, and you're like, hey, why not try? Then go for it. You need a glass puncher just to break up a little spot in here to get going. Okay, and then you're gonna need lots of good little blades. As you can see, I have lots of goodies, lots of blades that help me get in there. Once again, you can get through that website I was initially telling you about, gngbuy.com, I do believe it is. This thing, it gets really hot, so make sure you have somewhere to put it. I am going to be show this real quick. I'm going to be blasting it at 415 and around 75 degree airflow. That's Celsius, so really hot. And unfortunately, my light does flash, even though being LED. So basically, we're just warming it up and then moving the nozzle away. We don't want to constantly put the nozzle in a certain area. This puts a lot of glass shards inside the phone. So you recommend replacing the battery every time you do one of these, especially the first time. How's the snap? Hey everyone, it's Dustin with TechMD here. Imagine this, you break the back of your phone. Well, we can fix that here in Draper, Utah. Basically, I'm going to be using a lot of heat to remove the back and kind of chisel off the camera lens over here. And then I'm going to put a brand new piece of glass, it looks like this, on there. It just takes a while to actually break off all this glass. So I have to actually use this clamp here, and I screw it down into the table so that way this thing doesn't move very much, and that way I can actually cut this out. Just taking the glass biker here right now to break the glass around. There's a couple ways to try to remove this glass from inside. I like the chisel method. Just make sure you have some kind of protection on your eyeglasses because the chisel method is quite crazy. All right, chisel method. Just take a blunt tool. And a mallet. Hammer away. This prevents the cameras from damaging or getting damage on or melting the camera or light lens. Flashlight lens, jeez, man, my brain does not want to work. Let's hit the cameraman with some glass shards. As you can see, I have to go around all these little spots here. Drop the temperature to 215 degrees Celsius, and just max airflow. And then I'm just going to use the thinner tool here. So we just don't want to get as hot, but we already chiseled out the broken glass everywhere. So hopefully this will come loose. Chisel out all the old glue here. And you want to get rid of all the glue as much as possible. because you got to fit a nice flat piece of glass on there, and then you want to sweep up all your glass shards with a toothbrush and alcohol. So we're going to get rid of all the glass shards here. Phone should be fairly warmed already, but if not, put it at 90 degrees Celsius and get it nice and warm because we are going to replace that battery. All right. So now it's nice and toasty, we're going to remove the two bottoms Phillips screws. Ideally, you do this beforehand. Not Phillips, I'm sorry, Pentalope screws. The 12 Pro Max is really fragile on the frame, so just be careful with it. You could break the screen removing this. So I like to use lots of heat and alcohol to help loosen everything up to make it easy to get in there. Using isopropyl alcohol 100%, but you can get anywhere from 91 to 100. Be just fine without damaging any components by its own. See all the glass shards in there? This is why we have to remove it. They'll start poking the battery and making things worse. You might have asked why wouldn't you just remove the battery first? Well, this glass doesn't like to remove really easily, and it just makes the life a nightmare, and the frame likes to bend on the clamp. So I like to have the battery in there to hold it all together. Okay, so we need try to sweep some of this glass shards away. Looks like some got in the camera anyways. But try to clean up the best you can. And then there'll be more under here. So now that it's nice and toasty from the initial sit down of 5 minutes of warming up, and then now it's warming up a little bit more while it's sitting here, should be able to pry this up. If it's giving you trouble, please use some alcohol. Do not bend this too greatly or it will blow up. Unless you're under 20% health, then you'd be fine. But I would highly recommend being 0% before bending any kind of batteries. If it has no electrical charge in it, they're fine. So just take some tweezers and twist, and it pulls up this glue pretty easily. You don't need to get every piece of glue. You can if you want to be OCD about it, but really you don't need to. We'll come back here in a minute. Okay, so I use aftermarket batteries because I think they're better than buying some random Apple original used, or buying new is typically difficult and double the price for no reason. I really think these aftermarket ones that I buy from XCap, aka IG, link in the description, will be just fine. So just gotta press this down to prevent that happening. The standard capacity is the one I get. I don't get the pro models or the high-end extended battery models, etc. I don't try to cheat the battery message, even though it would be nice to say aftermarket and still show the battery health. It does not do that with Apple. That's an Apple-only feature. And so, yeah, it could make sense, but people are trying to get the cheapest possible battery, and I'm trying to make money. And so this is the quality I use, and everyone tends to be very happy about it. I'm less than a 5% defect rate. So I stick with these. They're good. Put these tri-wing screws on, and we are going to get to the second most difficult part of this video, which is gluing on the back glass. Kidding. It's actually pretty simple. Just gotta have the right tools to do it. We want to make sure our phone still turns on. We didn't ruin the screen. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it on. And it might need a little juice after disconnecting it. Or it might be a completely dead new battery. That's possible. But it looks like this one has no issues, no lines. I didn't break anything. Yay. So you gotta be really careful with working with broken back glass because there's glass shards everywhere. Even on the table I didn't even work on, there's still glass shards that fell off the back and inside. So just make sure you clean up everywhere, and you don't want to scratch your new thing. If you're concerned, put something down, okay? And just double check, make sure you got every piece of glass here. Put your finger down and make sure you're not cutting your finger on anything, right? If you do, then that means you didn't get the glass shards, everything off. Okay, so it feels like we're good. Check around the camera lens, make sure that's good. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. A little sad about the MagSafe, but you know, that happens, it's normal. Okay, so we're gonna take our glue gun here. We're gonna remove the old one and put a new pink one on, which is somewhere here. Screw that in. Don't jam this too hard because it'll push out the pink stuff, and then you'll end up a bunch of glob everywhere. All these tools will be able to find on IG with the clamps, and then the pink tube, or the pink tip in the tube, gngbuy.com. That's what I recommend. IG is Injured Gadgets for clamps and everything else that you might need. Blades also for G&G. Really everything there, but for the battery, definitely IG is where to get it from. Remember, I highly recommend replacing the battery when doing this. This is a $205 repair currently in 2025 for me to do this for a customer. So if you don't have the twist top, you want to tape this over so that way it's not draining out. I'll do that here in a minute just for the sake of video. I'm just trying to hurry. Okay, so I always start and make sure the flashlight lens goes through, then this goes through, and this, and then just carefully press. Make sure you don't hear any cracking of glass. That's really important. And then you're going to take your first clamp and clamp it right where the camera, the flashlight lens is. I'll get a good clamp there, and then one right here next to it. And then you want to clamp it for a couple hours. If you are like me and have customers coming in and out daily, and I give them an option to come back in a couple hours, like this customer did, I'm actually mailing it back to them. You can put tape, packing tape, and hold it down on every side, and then tell them to take it off after a couple hours. And that's pretty much it, guys. All the links, like I said, should be in the description for both websites, as well as my website if you want to mail it in and have it professionally done. I will pay for return shipping, and I will do it same day and ship it out the next day. If you are shipping something, though, please make an appointment on the website, and then just let me know by giving me a call, okay? All right, well, that's it, guys. Thank you.